We are so excited today to have Colette Courtion join us today, the CEO and founder of Joylux, where I'm going to let her tell us all about this amazing company and brand and what they're doing for women's health and women's sexual wellness. So this is part one of a several series that we are going to start diving into this big topic of sexual wellness, especially for women, especially for midlife women. And while many people are still kind of skirting around the periphery of this issue, it's so important to talk about for all of our aspects of health and wellness. So thank you for taking the time to join us.
Well, thank you. I'm delighted to be here. It's something near and dear to my heart, talking about women's health and specifically intimate wellness. It's why we are who we are, and can't wait to share more.
Wonderful. Would you just tell us your journey of how you got here and a little bit about the company, and then we can kind of maybe dive into some of the science and the issues. But I think this is just it's such a statement for the power of, I think, female founders in this space, the importance of what we're doing in this space, and then how that translates into really how we care for ourselves.
Absolutely. So Joylux is a women's intimate health company focused on women in midlife. Our average consumer, she's a peri or a woman that has gone into menopause, and she's experiencing changes to her body, specifically vaginal health issues, whether it's dryness, incontinence, pain with sex. And the reason I created this company was truly personal, and it started with my own journey. My career, I spent the last 20 years working in the field of medical aesthetics. So I was working with all these advanced technologies, we call them energy-based technologies, that really help rejuvenate the skin, the tissues. And I was helping women look and feel younger. What I noticed, though, is when I started to age and I had my son at geriatric age of 42. My intimate health, my vaginal health, it totally changed. And I remember being with my girlfriends and sitting around talking about it. And they're like, yeah, have you peed your pants yet? Because every time you jump up and down now, you're going to pee your pants. And I was mortified to even hear that that's what women deal with. And then for me, after giving birth to my son, I was like in that perimenopause transition all at the same time, a new mom and going into perimenopause.
Right.
And so I was dealing with these issues. And then I had an aha moment. And I went, well, wait a minute. I'm working on technologies that tone and tighten the tissue here, rejuvenate it. Can I put it down there and will it do the same? And long story short, I found people way smarter than me, an OBGYN, a technologist, a scientist. And we looked into it, discovered that there were so many women suffering, mostly in silence, right? We don't talk about this, but they're suffering and it is impacting their quality of life. So we came up with the world's first and really to this day only home use solution that provides this therapeutic benefit to treat vaginal tissue for health and well-being. And we can go into all the wonderful things it does, but it is a home use solution using red light therapy to improve the health and wellness of your vaginal tissue.
Yeah. So I would love to just, for all of our listeners and for ourselves, to kind of back up and review kind of what happens to those tissues as we go through menopause and why this is, I think sometimes we think of sex as a extra, right? That it is, when we talk about health, we're talking about our hearts and our brains and other things like that. And I think we sometimes put sex in this like extra category, but like our vaginal health, like sex is part of that for sure, and intimacy. There's also other parts of what this technology and what your company is designed to do that they're also connected to each other. So walk us through a little bit of what happens as women go through this perimenopause transition to their vaginal tissues and why these therapies are therefore so important and effective.
Yes. Well, first of all, I do want to say that sex is absolutely vital to our overall health and well-being, whether it's with yourself or with a partner. It's essential that you stay connected to that, because there are so many studies that show when that's working and that's healthy, it has such a positive impact on your mood, your overall health and well-being, even your cardiovascular health. So
Right.
it's a
Yeah.
good thing. So ladies, it's a good thing. But what we do know is that with age and the changes in estrogen, when that starts to decline in our perimenopausal years, it impacts the integrity of the tissue. It starts to thin, loses that collagen, elastin. It loses vascularization, which equates to blood flow, not blood flow like a period, but tissue blood flow, which keeps your tissue healthy and lubricated. There's a correlation between a vascular tissue and a lubricated tissue. So those are all things that are really important elements of keeping that healthy that start to decline as we lose estrogen. So women in, let's just say in their 40s, when we start to transition from perimenopause and then full menopause, in our 50s or sometimes earlier, uh, our tissue down there is impacted, and that then has a huge impact on our quality of life, because our vaginal health, not just for sex reasons, it is really core to who we are as women, and it impacts so many other elements of health. In fact, we're about to release a study that shows vaginal dryness. If you suffer from vaginal dryness, the correlation to other issues in your life, from anxiety to sleep disruption to pelvic floor incontinence, they're all interconnected and intertwined. So it's so important that we take care of our vaginal health. I have one more point, and I love talking about this because this is then where my background comes from. So skincare. When you see a younger person, I would say a child, right? We look at their skin and it's plump and it's rosy and it's so healthy. I just love those little babies. I just want to squeeze their cheeks. Well, as that child starts to age and as we go through these changes and we lose estrogen, we have estrogen receptors everywhere, not just in our vaginal area. We have them all everywhere. And then we become older, we notice that our skin changes here, right? We develop wrinkles, we have tissue laxity, our skin becomes grayer, it's more dull, it doesn't have that vibrant rosiness like young children do. Well, even though we're not looking at our vaginas the same way, it happens there too. And that's when we lose that collagen and elastin. We lose that tissue, rosiness, that health. And then that impacts things like sexual intercourse. It becomes more painful. There's friction, there's inflammation, there's micro tearing that can help, that can be very painful. So there's a lot of things that happen down there that are happening up here, but we just look at this, so we address this, but we need to address it down there too, or it impacts your quality of life.
I think that's, I mean, such a kind of a key thing to give people permission to think about and to have a vocabulary and dialogue about is the core element of sexual health, right? So I love your framing of it, that regardless of your partnership status, it's something that's priority and on offer and worth your time to figure out how to rebuild it. When we talk to women in this cohort, we hear things like, first of all, I'm tired. I don't feel like having sex, or even with myself, right? Like, I'm tired. I don't feel attractive. I've been gaining weight. I could, it could be the vaginal dryness. It could be UTIs. It could be pelvic floor issues, but all of the machinery down there is feeling not so comfortable. Tell us a little bit about how you work with women to impact those different kind of little roadblocks in getting into the healthy and the enjoyable side of sexual health.
So we are debunking that myth. I'm just too tired.
Yeah.
Because we now have data on thousands, tens and tens of thousands of women. And we looked at women who suffer symptoms, and there is a huge correlation that I'm not tonight, honey. I'm not fatigued. I'm ready. I'm
Yeah.
not, I can't have sex tonight. I'm too tired, is directly correlated to vaginal dryness. So when we looked at women that don't have that I'm tired aspect, they aren't suffering from vaginal dryness. So our hypothesis is here that it's the physical changes that are happening to vaginal dryness and the fear of, oh my gosh, it's going to be painful, it's going to hurt, I'm going to have that friction, it makes me less confident, that creates anxiety.
Mm.
Oh my gosh, then anxiety then leads to fatigue, like it's all intertwined. So we're
Yeah.
about to debunk this not tonight, honey. It really comes down to women that are saying that. It starts with they're really experiencing vaginal dryness. And if we can address that, the I'm not tonight honeys may go away all.
Can you tell us a little bit about how your solution addresses that? What are the mechanics?
Yes,
I'm sure a
yes.
lot of women are not
This might,
familiar with this opportunity.
Yeah, yeah. So this is where we've
Brass
totally
tacks.
transformed how we treat. First of all, estrogen and women who can take vaginal estrogen, that is a wonderful solution, but that's not for everyone. And
Hmm.
so what we looked at is how can we look at it from a non-hormonal, holistic way? And
mhm.
we settled on red light therapy because it's incredibly safe. There are no known adverse events with red light. It's
Okay.
a technology that really works to upregulate cellular function. And so what that means is rather than correct any issues, we're triggering your body to improve what it naturally is supposed to do. So when red light comes in contact with your tissue, it penetrates through your skin down to your cellular level where you have your mitochondria in your cells. And specifically that mitochondria reacts to light. It becomes what we call an excited state. They bounce around. And when that mitochondria is bouncing around in your cells, it releases two chemicals that are really important for skin or cellular rejuvenation or upregulation. It's ATP, which
Hmm.
is the energy of our cells, and nitric oxide, which regulates blood flow. And so if you increase the production of ATP, that's going to lead to an increase in production of collagen and
Hmm.
elastin, which provides that tissue plumpness and tightness. If you increase nitric oxide, that means more blood flow is coming. So your tissue is going to have more blood flow. It actually becomes more vascular. And when it's more vascular, it then correlates to lubrication. That I don't know exactly why we have that correlation, but a more lubricated or more vascular tissue is more hydrated. And again, I go to the little kids, they have the rosy, hydrated skin, not like the dry skin that we experience as we
Yeah.
age. I was just going to end with, and I'll show for those of you that are seeing, this red light is
Yes.
interacting with our tissue and getting all that mitochondria going.
Yeah.
Upregulation.
Yeah. So this, if people are not looking at it, this is like a wand. Like it looks kind of, like a vibrator, right?
It
That's kind
does
of what it
look
looks
like
like.
a vibrator
Yeah.
and it does actually have vibration, but let's not confuse it with a sex toy because it is not that.
Yeah.
The vibration, actually, there's a body of evidence out there that suggests vibration helps with your fibroblasts of your cells, which helps then improve collagen and elastin production. But what we also know, and we've studied this, is when you add vibration with red light therapy, actually helps the photons or the energy of red light absorb into the tissue. And I
Okay.
know this is sounding very medical and technical, but
Yeah.
it's all so good for your skin. That's what it comes down
Yeah.
to. Red light therapy, when done correctly, is very good for your tissue.
Okay. So, I mean, like just the mechanics, brass tacks here, like is it like 4 days a week? You're just sitting there with this wand inside and 30 minutes you're hanging out reading a book, doing your work.
You're not
What's
even
going on?
having to do that. So we specifically designed the power of our LEDs, the red light, to
Yeah.
be very quick and efficient. So it's
Okay.
10 minutes every other day for 6 weeks. And we specifically say 6 weeks because your body naturally turns over its cells and produces new collagen and elastin, and it takes about 4 to 6 weeks to do that. So if you
Okay.
start on a program within 6 weeks, you're probably going to hit your peak uh, peak production of collagen, elastin, and vascularization. And we know that women will start to notice results as soon as, their sixth or seventh treatment, week 3, they'll start to
Okay.
say things feel tighter, things feel healthier. I feel more lubricated, that natural lubrication. It's designed to work quickly. We are very, very busy women,
Yeah.
but we can commit to 10 minutes. The nice thing is it's you could do other things. You insert it into your vaginal canal, do it in the comfort of your bedroom, watch TV, read a book. We have an app that guides you through the
Yeah.
session. The
Oh,
app
very
has tons of menopause education.
great.
It has your symptom tracking, so there's lots of great
Yeah.
insights and tools.
And then do you have like a maintenance protocol? Like you do the first 6 weeks
Yes.
and then like once a quarter or something, you're doing a little
Yeah,
maintenance?
so I love to give this analogy. So let's say we go to the gym. It's the 1st of January. We go to the gym because we want to lose weight and get healthy, right? And we go, and 6 weeks in, we're feeling good. We're looking good. Do we stop working out and just go home and say, I did it. I'm good?
Yeah.
No, we have to stick with a regimen. Maybe it's not, every 4 times a week, but we do need to stick with a regimen. So we recommend women use it for 1 to 2 weeks, or 1 to 2 times a week thereafter for 10 minutes.
Okay.
Reality is, though, here's the reality, and this is what we know from practical, is most women will get to their peak place and then they'll be like, okay, yay, I'm feeling awesome, so I'm going to stop. Eventually, though, your body will go back to, well, we're aging, so I'll start to notice symptoms maybe in month 6 coming back.
Okay.
So then what we see is women go back to a retreatment where they do the sessions again for usually not 6 weeks, usually 3 weeks, and then they get back to where they are.
Yeah. I have a couple questions. I mean, I think one is, really emphasizing that this is really a skin health tool. I think that people, I think that's one like barrier to entry into some of this available therapy is that, oh, it looks like a sex toy and I don't want to do that or whatever. This is truly for the health of your tissues, which is great. And I think we also know that, and maybe that actually lowers the barrier to entering into exploring some of those other things that we know are very valuable, especially to menopausal women who want to maintain intimate relationships and healthy sexual relationship, whether that's with a partner or themselves. But I also think, does this device, and not even the device, but does this therapeutic intervention, I mean, does it help with healing? Like, is this something, because I feel like there's this void, right? It's like, there's this horrible void after you have a child
Yeah.
and no one takes care of you. And it's like, it's still beyond me. You sprain your
Yeah.
ankle, you go to physical therapy. You have surgery, you go to physical therapy. You push a human out of your body and no one addresses the
That's
trauma,
true.
tissues to your pelvic, like any of it. And so I'm just thinking that, as we have younger women that are listening to us, or, I think there are very, very many women today in a scenario similar to you. We're having children in our 40s.
Yes.
And we have a newborn and we're entering perimenopause at the same time. And so the health of that tissue is so important.
We do know, so we developed a product actually for postpartum women. It's an external device that uses the same technology because the key modality of red light therapy is healing. It is healing the tissue. It's anti-inflammatory. It's accelerating. Blood flow is for healing, right? When we cut ourselves, how does the cut on our skin heal? It's because the blood is flowing there and it's bringing oxygen, proteins, nutrients that then heal your tissue from that cut. So imagine that same thing is happening in your perineum, in your pelvic floor region. So red light therapy is all about healing. I want to add, when you start earlier too, when you start intervention before you need it, then the chances are you're not going to have the problems, or at least not to the severity where it's impacting your daily functions in a severe way. So start young. Start in your, we have women in our 20s that are doing this for preventative.
Yeah.
Botox. When I started my first company, Botox was just for older women, but now younger women are saying, I'm doing it for prevention, so I don't have the wrinkles when I'm in my 50s. Mm-hmm. And same thing with your vaginal care is use things, whether it's the VFit or other products, to really keep that healthy, just like you do on your face or other parts of your body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you mentioned that because that was going to be my next question about prevention. And I think that, we're seeing that in with so many other of our menopause therapies, whether it is even hormone therapy, right? We know the earlier we start, the better benefit that we're going to have, weightlifting, all of those things, right? And
Yeah.
so I'm glad you mentioned that. And I want to double down that again, preventing these problems is so
Yeah.
important. And I think especially in this realm of sexual wellness that because it compounds so many other parts of our health
Yeah.
and we may not even realize that. And so I think, keeping that area of health active, engaged, and I think a lot of people don't even connect those dots that we need prevention in that realm.
Yeah.
Right, because we don't see it. We're not looking at it every day, but it is so important. I just keep saying it's who we are as women. It's like the core of what differentiates us from men. So we
Yeah.
really need to embrace it and love it and take care of it like the rest of our body.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a specific question, and people who have listened to us before have heard me talk about my major menopause symptom was UTIs, an increase in UTIs. So I'm trying to think about the application of this. Like, this is internal. Does the red light get all over like the urethra area as well? Would
It
that help
does.
that?
It does. And so our first clinical study, and we did a lot of studies. We have vaginal biopsies at pre-post, so you could see these physical changes
Mm,
happening in the tissue to validate that our hypothesis is true. But because the vaginal canal aligns with the urethral canal, they're parallel, the light energy penetrates through the vaginal canal into the urethral canal. And that's when women are seeing the secondary benefit of improved pelvic floor strength. Women notice less bladder leakage because, this is tightening the sphincter area where it
yeah.
controls urine flow. So this is really improving all of that pelvic floor health area, which is again, we validated in clinical studies and have it published on the internet. You can read all about it.
Yeah.
I
You
Awesome.
mean,
did ask me a question, and I want to say this, although technically it's considered off label, and the FDA gets really angry when you talk off label.
Yeah.
But I had a friend who recently had a hysterectomy and she was struggling with the internal healing of the area. And she had to go in for a second surgery and she was really traumatized by it. And I said, we're not cleared for this. This is not anything we've studied, but
Yeah.
why don't you just try our device? Because red light therapy is very well known for healing and
Yeah.
healing, accelerating the healing process. And so she went and did it. She bought it, didn't tell me. And then a month later, she calls me, goes, I am completely healed. We've canceled this surgery. And I was just like so pleased
Yeah.
with her. So she didn't have any of the other issues. She didn't have dryness. She didn't have, pelvic floor.
Yeah.
She just needed help with the healing of a surgery she had.
Yeah.
And it was red light therapy.
So does that also have potential to help? Because I mean, so many women suffer from endometriosis. I can never get that word out. So
I know.
fibroids and things. Does it help that far, or is it like that's too
I
far up
don't
the
think
uterus?
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that we've really focused on treating, first of all, the introitus.
Yeah.
That's where you sense the most, your sense grip and strength, and that's where your urethra sphincter is. So all of that is really about the introitus, which is the opening of the vagina. So if you look
Hmm.
at our device, it's not red lights all the way up.
Yeah.
So I don't think, and we've not studied it, and I have no anecdotal
Yeah.
feedback
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
I wish it did. I mean, someday we'll just have red lights everywhere. We'll just
Yeah, that's
walk.
right. That's right. I have a panel now and a face mask now, and so yeah, I see it.
I would love to go a little deeper into some of your other products because just like you've said, I think that this idea of taking very close and direct care of our skin is so important. And you're exactly right. It's like this is skin we don't see. This is skin we don't really, probably people don't even realize it's skin, right?
Right.
On the inside of the vagina.
Exactly.
And so until there's a problem, it's often just out of mind.
Yeah.
And in today's world where there are so many products designed to treat everything, Linsly and I really try to spend some time cutting through the noise, like what works, what doesn't. And I think, that is such a sensitive area, and you've developed a whole product line that complements the red light device to really exactly what you're saying, give other places that have this fragile, sensitive skin the attention that it deserves.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad you brought that up, because the VFit is the core of who we are, but we actually have such a wonderful toolkit of products that are designed for vaginal care. I say, there's a plethora of skincare products, right? And there is a plethora because each of us has different needs and wants, and skincare companies meet us where we are. Well, vaginal health is not a one size fits all. What's right for you may not be right for Leslie, or vice versa, or for me. So we try to provide a breadth of solutions that meet women where they are. These products can often be used together, jointly, or maybe independently, and that's all you need. So starting with a lubricant, and maybe you're in your 20s, and this is the perfect place to start. So we've designed this lubricant actually in partnership with our friend Halle Berry, the acclaimed actress and menopause advocate. And why this lubricant is special and unique and different is that, one, it was formulated with a view that this is skincare, this is tissue, but it's just down there. So we used ingredients that are often found in skincare, hyaluronic acid, which
Mm-hmm.
is a moisture binding ingredient, and it's used all the time on the face. So we formulated with hyaluronic acid in here. We also put aloe, because aloe is an incredibly soothing product. So if you have tissue irritation, that helps. But the other thing that was important to us with these products is that they're all clean ingredients, because our vaginal tissue is incredibly absorptive. So anything you put down there, we don't have the difference with our facial tissue is there's no stratum corneum. There's no layer of dead skin cells that protects it, right? It's your mucosa. So whatever you're going to put there is going into your system. So you want to keep it clean. So these are all ingredients that are safe, clean. It's pH balance. This is another important element. And you talked about UTIs. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of a reason women have UTIs is because they get irritated and have infection because they're introducing products or things that irritate the flora, the tissue environment. So keeping this pH balance helps that. If you have something that's really outside of a vaginal pH, so which is between 4 and 5, and
Mm.
you have a product that's a 9 or a 10, which is where most skincare body products are, that's going to throw off your balance, and that's going to lead you more susceptible to irritation and infection and you name it. And then a lot of things can happen. So keeping it pH balanced, keeping it clean, keeping it with ingredients that are actually really healthy and good for the skin. I also want to add this concentration of hyaluronic acid is greater than anything else in the market. And again, it's Joylux taking what we know is good and making it better. So
Mm.
a lubricant, start there. You're in your 20s, start with a lubricant. It helps just keep that tissue protected. But then we have a whole range of products. We're coming out with an amazing product later this year, again in partnership with Halle, that's launching June. Everything we do at Joylux is geared around how can we solve a problem? How can we make it better for women? And how can we provide best of class, whether it's technology or ingredients or solutions that are really going to improve the quality of life for women?
Mm-hmm.
I would love for you, if you're comfortable doing this, just relaying some of the success stories and some of the testimonials that you hear for women who have rediscovered this part of their lives, this part of their health. We always like to see these success stories, whether it's, oh, I started lifting weights and this, my bones have improved, and things like that. And I think that this is often a place where they're just like, oh, it's part of getting old. This happens, and so I would love if you wanted to share some of that, because I think it's still important to see the outcome. It's like anything we're going to do, like, what is the outcome of this?
That is so important, and really truly what motivates me and my team, mostly women. I think we have 98% of our team is women. But we come to work every day because we are changing women's lives. And we know that because of the feedback and the stories that are shared with us. And I've been in companies and I've been an entrepreneur for over 20 years. So I do a lot in products, and I've never had a customer handwrite me a letter until Joylux. And this
Uh,
letter I got recently, or actually was a year or two ago, said, I'm handwriting you this letter because you saved my marriage.
mm,
We were headed for divorce. I could no longer have sex with him. It was so painful. It created such a strain in our relationship that the only option was to separate and divorce. But when I
Yeah.
learned of your product and I took control of my vaginal health and treated myself, I was able to have sex again, and it
yeah,
totally brought us back together. And like, this woman is, just so sharing her story, and it brought tears to my eyes because I know that saving a marriage is a big deal.
Right.
yeah, yeah,
But we hear that a lot. We hear about these stories of women who are now can reconnect with their husbands or their partners after years of not, because of fear of it being too painful and ashamed, embarrassed to even talk about it with their husbands. I mean,
yeah,
I'm in this business and I get it. It's hard telling my husband sometimes, I gotta do a VFit before we get back to work,
yeah, yeah.
because things are off. So it's hard. It's really hard. So I love hearing these stories. I love knowing that we are making a big difference in women's lives and men's
Yeah.
lives and families' lives, right? When you
Yeah.
really think about keeping a marriage together is about keeping a family together.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, if women are suffering from vaginal dryness, any kind of friction and pain, UTIs, are there any other kind of symptoms that you would say, if you're feeling this, give this solution a chance?
Well, libido, right?
Libido. Okay.
Libido is often associated, what we know, and the study will confirm it, it's lack of libido is not because they don't want to, it's really because the fear of pain or discomfort and not wanting to address that or deal with that. So what we found though is women that say, I've lost it. I have no interest. We say start off with our product. It will get your libido back going because it's getting your confidence back, your
Yeah.
confidence up. And so often women that just suffer from libido and then are engaging in sex, this is a good place to start. I also have a personal story, a girlfriend of mine who had been without a partner for over 5 years. And so she hadn't engaged in penetrative intercourse in that amount of time. And so she was getting back into the dating world.
Yeah.
And so she V-fitted her way back into what is now a very happy, sexful marriage.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
She credits VFit to get her
Yeah.
game back, which then now she's happily married again.
Having this conversation. Oh, sorry, Linz. I love having this conversation because I think that this is, again, like we talked about at the beginning, sometimes an uncomfortable conversation to go and have with your healthcare provider. I think it's probably, a lot of times you start to have the menopause conversation and their eyes glaze over. And then you start talking about sexual wellness and menopause, and they're just like, I'm out. And so I think that this is such a great non-pharmacologic tool that women
Yeah.
can access without having to kind of navigate those difficult conversations. And like you said, gain confidence, and I don't want to ever tell people to not seek healthcare when they need healthcare, but I think this is such a great way to be able to gain some confidence, gain some experience, do something that could be incredibly beneficial with very low risk, with
Yeah.
great science and data behind it, which is one thing that I'm always looking at. And so it's just such a great tool for women to be able to have some agency in this area.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess what I was going to ask though is because I feel like we get a lot of conversation with people who are in the hormone world, and they're saying, more and more, you're not too old to consider hormones. Like you're never too old to recover. And so, it sounds like that's this opportunity as well. Like it doesn't matter if you're 20 years past menopause, you can still rejuvenate this tissue with this at-home solution.
Sorry, our lights go out when we're not walking around the office. So guess what? I just got an email today from a potential customer that says, I'm 79 years old and I have these issues. Can I use your device? And that just, I mean, yes, you go, girl. So
Yes. Yeah.
yes, you're not too young and you're not too old to try it. If you're experiencing anything, at the end of the day, if we can help build your confidence and make you feel, that you're more vibrant and healthy, go for it. Go for it.
Yeah, yeah. And one thing you talked about this technology kind of bringing vitality and blood flow to the skin. I mean, that is the question that I know we're going to get asked is what about orgasm? Because a lot of women kind of reduced orgasm when they've come through the other side of menopause. Is this something that you think is a fringe benefit of this as well?
For sure. And we have the data to support it. I mean, women report higher sensation, higher orgasm. Uh, a lot of orgasm, though, starts from clitoral stimulation. And if you can increase blood flow to that region, that's going to increase sensation. Our device was not designed particularly well for external application. We have the NeoHeat that was designed for perineum, your perineum. But I always say, try it on the outside, help get that blood flow. The device does get warm. So I want women to know if you ever feel like it's too warm, stop, right?
Yeah.
Especially externally, inside our vaginal tissue acts as a heat sink because we have that blood flow. So you don't notice any warmth inside like you do externally. But if you can get blood flow to that clitoral region, and then that is combined, that the nerves and all of that's combined, it helps with orgasm. So absolutely, we know the VFit helps. Even if you keep it internally, we know it helps with orgasm.
Yeah.
This is going to be a little bit random, but have you done any studies or is there any data about combining this with other therapies? Like, does this improve the efficacy of a vaginal estrogen or systemic hormones, et cetera, as far as keeping that tissue healthy?
So we haven't studied with hormones. Our chief medical officer, Dr. Sarah De La Torre, though, she does a lot with her patients and combined, estrogen, or vaginal creams with VFit. So she's a big proponent of mixing and combining things. So she has world experience in that. I will say though, there is a published paper about, and we didn't author it. It came from an independent doctor where they looked at using our device post the Mona Lisa treatment. And for those of you that have not heard about Mona Lisa, it's a CO2 laser for vaginal treatment. And the mechanism of action or the clinical outcome is generally the same. It's about increasing blood flow and building new collagen elastin in your tissue. But CO2 laser is going to it creates damage, and then your body repairs itself. So it's not great for a lot of people. It is, painful. But what they looked at is using our device post that procedure and then using it for maintenance allowed the women to continue seeing results for 2 years versus with Mona Lisa, it drops off at 12 months where then you have to go back for retreatment. So the combo of the two therapies helped prolong results of the Mona Lisa. And that's a published paper. We didn't author it. We had nothing to do with it, but it's out there.
That's great. That's great.
So, Colette, I think I've heard you mention 3 products, the lubricant, the core wand, and then something else that you mentioned that was for the perineum. Are there other products we should just make sure people know are part of
So we
the
have
release
our
line?
lubricant, we have serums, we have some accessories that you must have with the VFit device. We have the photonic gel, which helps with insertion. We have wipes. We also have some other menopause products. We have this really innovative cold her, a pad that if you're experiencing hot flashes, it gives you instant relief without the need of a refrigeration, or you're just hot, like you're in Arizona and you're hot and you're working out. Slap one on, you wear them under your sports bra. So we have that, but one product I have to talk about because it's actually probably my second favorite product is our She Bar. We have this soap that's actually a non-soap. So it doesn't have any of the drying ingredients that soap have. Rather, it has coconut oil, jojoba oil, beeswax, vitamin E, you name it. It's like 18 antioxidants. And this is the most luxurious soap you will ever experience. And it's for, it's all clean, pH balance. It's intended for intimate tissues. So you can
Okay.
use it down there without irritation. And it also has a really nice scent. So very
Okay. Yeah.
light essential oil scent. But I love that. She-bar. And the nice thing, it's like so affordable that if anybody out there just wants to try a Joylux product, start with a soap. It's $13.
I just want to make sure all of our listeners know where to find you guys. Obviously online at
Yes,
joylux.com.
Joylux.com, Joylux, and then at Canyon Ranch. Hello.
And the Canyon Ranch, you can find it here. Yeah.
Yay.
Where else do you have retail available?
So we are in Ulta stores.
Okay.
About 350 Ulta stores, of course, online with Ulta. We are in Walmart stores. Not all of our SKUs. She-Bar, Hold Her,
Okay.
some of these products are in the like 2,000 Walmart stores.
Okay.
Nordstrom's, odd line with Nordstrom. So if you want to get your points, Nordstrom's a good place
Awesome.
to buy.
Okay.
So we just have a ton of places you could buy, Amazon, of course, but doctors. We're sold in like 1,000 doctors' offices around the United
Excellent.
States.
So great.
Lots.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Well, thank you for joining us. Thank you for kicking off this series that we are so excited to start and tackle this topic and make it so everyone is comfortable talking about it, that we can take better care of ourselves, that we feel empowered in these areas. So I appreciate you spending the time with us. Lynn,
Oh my
anything?
gosh, thank you.
No, I would just got to echo that. It's fantastic. It's this core joy factor. So thanks for making it easier for people to plug back into it.
Well, the key here is that we need the ecosystem. We need everybody talking about this, embracing it, not being embarrassed or ashamed of it. So the fact that Canyon Ranch has made this an important part of your program speaks to where we've come. And
Yeah.
sexual health is vital to a woman's overall health and well-being. So embrace it, love it.
Yes. Thank you. All right, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for spending your time with us here today. If you liked what you heard and you got some tips on how to live better right now and for the long haul, please help us reach more midlife women. Please share and rate and like this show. And we can't wait to continue the dialogue with you on our next episode. Until then, thank you. It's time.